Hello. My name is Lewis, and I am just kind of doing this off the cuff thing to kind of talk about my experience with short term disability, being disabled, being transgender. I grew up in Texas. I grew up kind of poor, which led to me being chronically ill, or you know, it's one of those things where um, you put the cart before the horse. Which came first, the chicken or the fucking egg? Did I become disabled because I was poor, or was I always disabled and because I did not receive the care that I needed growing up? I just it just became unmanageable. Both my parents were always working. They got divorced when I was really young, though, um, and just never had a stable environment. And now I'm 24, living on my own. Both my parents have nothing to their name. Neither of them own their homes. Neither of them. I think my mother owns her vehicle, but she got into a car accident, and now she's disabled. She's more disabled than I am, and she's fighting tooth and nail to get this company to actually pay her what she is worth, or what her damages were worth. Um, kind of like the situation I'm in now with my work, where I'm just trying to get some assistance. Staying housed and fed while I take some time off of work. Trying to take some time to, get my body in order, because I have some gastric issues. I have some issues with my esophagus. I have multiple issues with my back. I have scoliosis. I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I also have an auxiliary nerve impingement in my sort of like right armpit. It has meant that I've had extreme neuropathy for half of my upper back for 5 years now, and I'm a pretty young person, and I've tried to remove myself from this mortal coil early, because I've had so many doctors sit me down and tell me, hey, you gotta accept the fact that you may just be like this for the rest of your fucking life, and that's awful. The system does not care about us. The system does not exist to make us feel better. It exists to make us feel well enough to work, so that you can work until you're 50 and then take care of all your medical needs then. Which really sucks, because I don't have the ability to do that. I deleted my TikTok because of my identity, because I'm trans, because of how I look, because of how I present, because I'm kind of goofy. A bunch of people kept coming into my comments telling me to end my life, and you're telling me that that is something that I should do, that if I'm so disabled, if I'm in so much pain, and if I can't work, I'm not worth the effort anyway. And that's not true. I'm an artist. I love creating and writing, and if I could do that for my work, and if I could do that for to add value back to the world, I would. But I have to do something that will actually allow me to eat in the short term. So I'm ruining my body for a job that should pay me more than it currently does, and does pay my other coworkers more. I'm doing the extra work for I'm doing the extra work for the raise that I've been working towards, and they keep finding one reason to not give me the raise. They keep finding one issue in my metrics. They keep finding this one thing to nitpick and pick at, and so I've been working at this raise for the last year, and I haven't moved an inch. And I tried to go back to work. I did short-term disability last year because I tried to end my life. I was in so much pain. I was like, I have to sit down, and I have to go to the doctor, and I have to go to all of these doctors, and I have to get my body fixed. But the system is so slow that they just don't want me to get better. I have 3 or 4 different doctors that I'm seeing right now. I've had multiple issues with fainting. Fainting this year. I had a couple episodes where I was at a drag show, and I fainted at a drag show with my friends, and it was really scary. So I have a heart doctor, I have a gastroenterologist, I have an oncologist, because in 2020 I had a tumor removed, and I'm supposed to have been returning to have an MRI of my whole body every year to make sure that it doesn't come back and spread through my lymph nodes, and I haven't been able to do that either. So I have to go back and see an oncologist as well, and then I'm also seeing I was seeing one orthopedist, but I had to go and see a different one because they keep dicking me around. I tried seeing a spine specialist, and straight up to my face, I'm trying not to laugh, because if I don't laugh at this one, I'll fucking cry. If I don't laugh at this one, I'll fucking cry. This doctor told me to my face, "Are you sure that your back pain wasn't caused by the fact that you're transgender?" Completely ignoring the fact that, I had the back pain before I started any sort of medical transition. Sorry, I'm shift my chair back. Oh, nope. Why'd you do that? Okay. But I started having back pain before I started any kind of transition in my life. And it's kind of insane that he was just allowed to say that. And I still have to pay that bill for that visit, despite the fact that he was spouting and saying shit at me. And I complained to them. I still have to pay that bill. I had a single injection in my shoulder, and it's the only thing that anyone has been able to do to fix anything about my back. But I still can't afford to not go to work. I still can't afford to go to all the doctor's visits that I need to go to. They didn't even pay me enough to own and operate a vehicle, because the amount that I make about $2,000 a month. Half of that has to go to my rent. Half of that goes to my rent and my bills. And the other half goes to food and, making sure that I have a happy life and savings and saving up to try to have a vehicle. But, when an emergency happens like this, where I can't work, where I'm not sleeping, I called out. And I called them and was like, I need to go on short-term disability leave because I haven't slept in 72 hours. And I'm starting to see things, and I'm starting to go a little crazy because I'm not getting consistent deep sleep because of all the pain that I'm in, because I'm in so much discomfort. That's why I tried to end my life last year. This system is designed to keep us as sick as possible, so we are willing to pay anything and do anything to get better. And my boss asked me, well, why, if you have all these issues, why don't you just go on disability? Why don't you just go on disability, and why don't you just, ask the government for assistance? I don't want to tell the government. I mean, the government probably already knows where I am. The government probably already knows who I am, and already has all my information, knows how to get to me, whatever, what have you, probably definitely knows where I work. But I haven't changed my legal name for a reason, and I don't want to be more involved with the government than I have to be, where they potentially leverage my transition in order to choose between my transition or my survival, so leverage that against me. That's just not something that I could handle. And there's a lot of things about disability that people just don't fucking know about. Disability makes you live off of $2,000 a month, which is about what I'm making right now fucking anyway. Let's see. You have to go to court. You have to get a lawyer and go to court in order to get disability. I do not have that kind of money because they do not pay me that kind of money. So they won't pay me the kind of money that would require me to get a lawyer to go and see about getting on disability. They won't pay me to go and see the doctor so the doctors can document that I have a disability. So what am I going to do if I show up with a lawyer without the documentation that I'm disabled? What the fuck do you think is going to happen, Deborah? That's not her name, but what do you think is going to happen if I show up without the documentation because you guys will not pay me enough money to, yeah, what do you think happens if you do not pay me enough money to even start the process? I keep telling my boss, I keep telling my coworkers, I keep telling the people I'm talking to, it feels like I'm dying and nobody gives a solitary fuck. Another fun little story. I've been trying to find a case manager so that I can go back to work full time. And this, I'm going to try not to cry, but this has genuinely been really frustrating. I've been trying to find a case manager. So you can get case management. They can do things like help you schedule visits. They can help you arrange rides. They can help you keep all of your shit straight, help you keep track of paperwork, make sure paperwork gets done, make phone calls for you. I work making phone calls for a living. I do not have the time to step away from the phone and be a full-time patient. And they want me to go back to work. And I called my insurance through my work. And I asked them, hey, so what's up with case management? Do you guys offer case management? And they say, oh yeah, we offer case management. Yeah, we totally offer case management. I'm curious though, do you live in this specific area? Because only if you live in the specific area can we give you case management. So I said, no, I don't live in that specific area and I can't move because I'm fucking disabled. So what's the next step here, bud? And they're like, oh, well, just give your office a call, see what they can do. So I give my office a call and they say, my HR office at my work. And I give them a call and they say, we actually don't have a phone number for case management. They should have had the phone number. And if they're saying that it's in a specific region, then you're just kind of screwed. I would call your primary care office and they could provide you with case management. So I called my primary care office, who does in fact have a case management office. And I called them and I asked, hey, what's up? Can I get case management pretty fucking please? And they say no, because even though you're coming to see us for primary care, your insurance does not cover us for case management because you should have case management through your insurance. It's like, well, that's the funny thing, isn't it? I don't live in the area that they want me to be in to get case management, so I can't get case management. What do I do from here? And they're like, oh, okay. Well, we're going to send a referral over to this local hospital that you see for some of your specialties. And if you see them for some of your specialties, maybe they'll get you in for case management without it being too much of an issue. Right? Okay. I'm normal. I'm fine. I'm normal. But I call them. I call the hospital. And they say, oh, we don't really take referrals for case management. You just come to case management if you need it. Don't you have a primary care office? Can't they provide you with case management? And I said, yes. But they can't because my insurance, even though I see them for my primary care, they won't take my insurance for case management. And they say, yeah, well, we won't take you for case management either, not unless you come to see us for primary care. And I say, well, I would prefer not to do that because I'm disabled, I don't have a vehicle, and my current doctor's office is like around the corner. So I don't want to move all of my care to you guys because generally speaking, you guys suck. And the only reason I'm seeing you for these specialties is because you're the closest office that offers these specialties near me. Yeah, and so I give my primary care office a call back, and I ask, hey, do you have anything else? Is there anything else that I can try to do here for case management? And they said, we got you, buddy. Here's a list of local places that are more independent that you can go and get case management through. I said, fucking great. So I start going through the list. There's a bunch of different centers around where I live, that will offer case management services to people on Medicaid. to people on Medicaid. To people on Medicaid. And, I call this office and I'm like, hey, I need case management services. I need help. I need this help really desperately in order to go back to working full time so that I can be a full-time productive member of society and have someone help me not be a full-time patient. And they say, yeah, you have to be enrolled in mental health services with us, and then we can give you case management, but only if you have Medicaid. So I have no recourse to get help. And I'm standing around begging these medical professionals to give a solitary fuck about me. I feel like I'm dying. I go to bed. It's that cliche. I have glass bones and paper skin. My heart attacks put me to sleep at night. But I go to sleep at night to the sensation of being unable to swallow, of feeling like there is something at the very bottom of my throat. Sometimes I wake up to really intense, painful heartburn. Sometimes I have really bad chest pain. I have really bad chest discomfort, and I've had multiple episodes this last year where my heart rate has sped up so fast that I fainted. But they're just like, stop being anxious. That's probably what it is. You just have anxiety. Or my mom had a heart attack before she turned 30. And they're just not fucking listening to me. I'm 24. I'm 24 and I go to bed every night praying that I don't wake up. And I wake up every morning not afraid of death, not afraid of dying, but afraid of living through what this country has become. I'm afraid of living through what is happening to this country. I'm afraid of being awake like like a victim on the vivisection table, while our rights are excised piece by piece, while our humanity is removed, while our neighbors and our family and our friends continue to pretend that everything we're seeing is fucking normal, that everything that is happening around us is fucking normal. The medical system is fucked. They don't want to fix us. And the government is also fucked. They don't want to fix us either. They want us subservient. They want us funneling as much money into... They want us funneling as much money as possible into the fucking medical care system. Why do you think they're removing all those rules and regulations around our food, baby? There's going to be so many fun kinds of new cancer these next few years. I hope everyone's prepared for that. As someone who works in the system and works inside the system and also has to deal with the system, but not my system, not the system that I work in, it's so easy to be like, well, if they just did it the right way, if they just did it through my hospital and did it through, our network and did it through, the way that we do things, you'd think it would make things easier, but it fucking doesn't. I had to hang up on this poor lady because I was going to lay into her. I told her, it feels like you guys make getting care as hard as possible so that people are discouraged from getting in. Okay. I'm done talking. You guys, no one will probably see this video anyway. I'm going to disappear and nobody will ever know my name. I think a lot of us are going to, and it's a really scary thought. I think that's why, social media is so popular, is because nobody wants to be forgotten. God. Yeah, that's it.